Excelentíssimas senhoras e senhores presidentes e representantes das comissões de relações exteriores dos parlamentos do BRICS e dos países parceiros, excelentíssimos membros de representações diplomáticas aqui presentes, caros colegas parlamentares, eu saúdo especialmente meu amigo deputado federal Marcel Van Hatten, representante do nosso querido estado do Rio Grande do Sul, que se faz presente nessa tarde. Declaro aberta a segunda sessão de trabalho da segunda reunião de presidentes das comissões de relações exteriores dos parlamentos do BRICS, com o tema Promoção de Investimentos e Transferência de Tecnologia para o Desenvolvimento Sustentável. Gostaria de saudar a todos e cumprimentar em especial os representantes das nações parceiras que recebemos nessa casa para esse evento tão relevante para a diplomacia parlamentar. Aqui nos reunimos para a segunda sessão de trabalho da reunião dos presidentes das comissões de relações exteriores dos parlamentos do BRICS. É uma honra me dirigir a esta comissão para tratar de temas de expressiva relevância para o futuro econômico do Brasil e de nossos parceiros internacionais. A promoção de investimentos, a transferência de tecnologia no âmbito dos BRICS como instrumento para o desenvolvimento sustentável dos nossos países. A integração econômica é essencial nesta era de transformações. Em 2001, quando foi criado o BRIC, os países originais, Brasil, Rússia, Índia e China, tinham pouco mais de 7% do PIB mundial. Seguimos crescendo e obtivemos a adesão da África do Sul quando o bloco passou a se denominar oficialmente como BRICS. Já em 2021, segundo dados da Conferência das Nações Unidas sobre o Comércio e Desenvolvimento, o bloco representa cerca de 25% do PIB global. Hoje, no que diz respeito ao PIB, o BRICS representa 40% da economia mundial, com potencial para crescimento. Ou seja, senhoras e senhores, não temos receio de afirmar que os países membros do BRICS são protagonistas nesse novo momento que nós estamos vivendo no mundo. Cabe notar as recentes ampliações do bloco. Entre 2021 e 2025, ingressaram nos BRICS mais 6 países: Arábia Saudita, Egito, Emirados Árabes Unidos, Etiópia, Indonésia e Irã. E o número de nações parceiras já é quase uma dezena, a saber, Bielorrússia, Bolívia, Cazaquistão, Malásia, Nigéria, Tailândia, Uganda, Uzbequistão. Essas nações compartilham diferentes perfis econômicos e geopolíticos, refletindo a diversidade de interesses que movem o bloco e suas áreas de influência. Na oportunidade, reafirmamos o quanto o Brasil valoriza os princípios que aqui nos unem: o respeito à soberania de cada um dos países, a busca pelo desenvolvimento econômico, a promoção da paz e a prosperidade para os nossos povos. Assim, senhoras e senhores, há que se destacar que, diante de um cenário político e econômico tão favorável no que diz respeito à promoção de investimentos, cabe ressaltar que os fluxos de investimento direto estrangeiro entre os países dos BRICS têm crescido substancialmente ao longo das últimas décadas. De acordo com o relatório recente da UNC-TAD, esse investimento passou de um estoque de 27 bilhões de dólares em 2010 para 167 bilhões de dólares em 2020, um aumento de mais de 6 vezes em apenas 10 anos. Em 2021, o BRICS, como um todo, captou 355 bilhões de dólares em investimento direto estrangeiro, o que corresponde a 22% dos fluxos globais. Entretanto, é importante notar que, mesmo com essa evolução positiva, os fluxos de investimento direto estrangeiro dentro dos BRICS representam apenas cerca de 5% do estoque total do bloco, indicando que existe um amplo espaço para crescimento e para integração mais profunda. A ampliação dos investimentos internos no BRICS significa mais do que a capitalização de projetos. Trata-se da construção de cadeias produtivas complementares, da criação de empregos e da aceleração da inovação em nossos mercados. É também uma oportunidade para reduzir a dependência de fluxos externos e fortalecer a nossa resiliência econômica frente a choques econômicos globais. Senhoras e senhores, se o investimento é essencial, a transferência de tecnologia é o fator que efetivamente impulsiona a produtividade e gera valor agregado. O desenvolvimento econômico contemporâneo não se sustenta apenas na acumulação de capital, mas depende crucialmente da capacidade de inovar e adotar tecnologias de ponta. Nesse aspecto, o BRICS oferece uma oportunidade singular. O Brasil, com seu imenso potencial no agronegócio, energia limpa e biotecnologia, tem muito a ganhar e oferecer com parcerias que envolvam não apenas capital, mas também o conhecimento. Temos a certeza de que os novos países membros, com suas respectivas especificities,
are already participating in this fruitful scenario of exchange of technological advances. We remind that the recuperation of technology can be reinforced through partnerships of research, university by the member states, promoting the exchange of researchers, joint projects, and sharing knowledge and experience. We've worked together so that BRICS keeps in the vanguard of global economy, promoting a virtuous cycle of growth, human development, and international integration. Thank you so much. I clarify that each and every one of the participants will have 5 minutes for their presentation, that you can speak from the seat where you're sitting. To make sure we comply with our agenda, the sound system is programmed to ring the bell 30 seconds before 5 minutes is up, so you can wrap up your talk. I request everyone speaks into the phone slowly so that simultaneous interpreters will be able to convey the best message possible. So the order of the speeches has previously been defined, with all participants in advance being advised. Following the order of speech of our illustrious participants, I give the floor for 5 minutes to the first enrolled speaker, Deputy Mardani Alicera, previously enrolled. In replacement, I give the floor to Mr. Deputy Hussein Fabullah, Vice President of the Commission Interparliamentary from the Republic of Indonesia, to speak for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to express our sincere gratitude for hosting this important forum. Honorable delegates, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity to deliver the Indonesian House perspective on today's discussion topic. We would like to highlight several points. First, promoting sustainable development depends critically on investment and technology transfer, particularly in developing countries. Investment in sustainable infrastructure, clean energy, and environmentally friendly industries offers the financial backbone for green transitions. Not every country, however, has enough resources or capacity to acquire technology and capital. Indonesia, in this regard, is one of those that requires investment and technology transfer in order to be able to fully achieve sustainable development. On that note, Indonesia House is of the view that BRICS can provide an opportunity for alternative funding to support critical infrastructure and sustainable development projects in member countries, including the energy transition. It also provides collaborative opportunities in the agriculture industry with the goal of increasing productivity and efficiency. This is significant for Indonesia since we prioritize achieving national food self-sufficiency while contributing to global hunger relief initiatives. BRICS also provides market diversification and huge opportunities for strategic partnership with its members. Further, the new Development Bank, or NDB, has also been providing financing in developing countries related to clean energy and energy efficiency, social infrastructure, and digital infrastructure. Honorable, in terms of investment and technology transfer, as an addition, Indonesia is also keen to bring up concerns regarding our downstream policy for discussion within BRICS, as it requires significant investment and technology transfer to speed up the downstream process of transforming raw resources into finished or semi-finished products. It also needs processing facilities and cutting-edge technology, the majority of which is provided through international investment and partnership. Thank you very much.
We would like to thank Deputy Hussein Fadullah for his speech, and I would like to say the possibility of showing Mr. Slutsky from the Russian Federation. He will not be able to be here. I wanted to give the floor to Mr. Mustafa Taheri, member of the Consulting Assembly of Iran, with the time of 5 minutes.
The honorable members, distinguished guests, while the international economic order is facing diverse challenges, our role in BRICS has become more crucial than ever. This meeting symbolizes our collective will to deepen cooperation and shape a suitable and prosperous future for our nations. One of the fundamental pillars of sustainable development is the promotion of investment among BRICS member states, both bilaterally and multilaterally. To achieve this goal, it is essential to create a conducive investment environment by strengthening the rule of law, ensuring transparent contract enforcement, and protecting investors' rights. We must ensure that investors, both domestic and foreign ones, enjoy legal and economic security. This can be realized by drafting coherent regulations, enhancing independent judicial systems, and establishing effective dispute resolution mechanisms. Regulatory complexity and bureaucracy often pose major obstacles to investment. Simplifying legal processes, reducing redundant procedures, and creating transparent licensing pathways can accelerate investment flows among BRICS members. To attract investment, financial incentives such as exemptions, tax breaks, and credits are necessary. A skilled workforce is the backbone of modern economies. Investing in education and workforce skill enhancement, particularly in technology and innovation, is vital to meet the labor market demands of BRICS. Such investment not only boosts productivity, but also helps reduce unemployment and poverty in member countries. Developing technical and vocational education programs tailored to the BRICS job markets is a key step towards sustainable development. These programs should be designed in collaboration with the private sector. Special economic zones, through offering specific incentives and simplified regulations, can become hubs for attracting investment. These zones, focusing on industries like green technology, smart manufacturing, and logistics, can encourage investors to participate in large-scale projects. Facilitating business registration, reducing startups' costs, especially for entrepreneurs and small businesses, is of special importance. Creating online platforms for company registration and lowering legal expenses can provide a favorable environment for innovation and entrepreneurship. These efforts are particularly crucial for attracting small and medium-sized investments, which are key drivers for BRICS economies. Developing stock and bond markets in BRICS countries offers an effective way to finance business infrastructure projects. Strengthening regional stock exchanges and introduce innovative financial instruments such as green bonds for sustainable projects can provide the financial resources Supporting stand-ups and innovating companies through the establishment of venture capital fund is another way to strengthen the innovation ecosystem within BRICS. These funds can help startups in areas such as digital technology, healthcare, and clean energy turn their ideas into commercial products and services. Developing student and researcher exchange programs is an effective way to share knowledge and skills among BRICS countries. These programs can be implemented through scholarships, joint training courses, and international research projects. Investment in research and development is essential to maintain BRICS competitiveness in the global economy. Allocating resources to research projects in areas such as artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and green technologies can lead to innovation and economic growth. Collaboration among research centers in BRICS countries can reduce research costs and accelerate outcomes. Establishing technology transfer networks among BRICS member states allows for the sharing of knowledge and cutting-edge technology. These networks can include technology parks, innovative centers, and online collaboration. Parliaments play a pivotal role in implementing these strategies. Through legislation, they can establish frameworks to support investment, technology transfer, and sustainable development. In conclusion, I would like to once again sincerely thank you, all of you, and hope that this meeting would turn into a turning point for our cooperation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Agradeço o deputado Mostafa Teheri. Concedo a palavra neste momento ao senhor deputado Mohamed Mustafa El Salabi, presidente da Comissão de Indústria da Câmara dos Representantes da República Árabe do Egito, pelo tempo de 5 minutos.
Representative of Egypt for the time of 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, Your Excellencies and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, members of the BRICS Parliamentary Forum. At the outset, I'd like to express my profound appreciation for the continuous and tireless effort to advance the frameworks of cooperation among member states at all levels. The previous meetings have significantly contributed to deepening the bonds of relations and cooperation among our nations. In the same vein, we highly value the work of this forum, which serves as an important platform for exploring various investment and development opportunities among the BRICS countries. This will undoubtedly contribute to strengthening intra-BRICS investments, trade, and joint projects, which will in turn enhance our efforts to meet the aspirations of our peoples and achieve the desired economic growth. Distinguished attendees, at a time when the world is witnessing successive and unprecedented international challenges and crises that require the collective effort of all to find effective solutions and give the more serious challenges and arduous tasks faced by developing countries in achieving the sustainable development goals, the BRICS nations should be companions on the path of development and renaissance. They should reject decoupling, breaking chains, or economic coercion. Instead, they should focus on constructive cooperation and enhanced communication, particularly in areas such as investment, technology transfer, the digital economy, green development, supply chains, and other areas of collaboration. Additionally, efforts should be intensified to advance the Sustainable Development Agenda, which is primarily a shared responsibility by leveraging the competitive advantages of each country to launch joint projects that contribute to enriching economic integration among BRICS nations. It goes without saying that sustainable development is one of the most critical challenges and opportunities facing societies in the modern era. Through it, the world seeks to achieve the balance between economic growth, environmental preservation, and the improvement of social quality of life. In this context, investment is considered the cornerstone of achieving sustainable development. By adopting smart and integrated investment strategies, countries and institutions can achieve a balance between economic development and the preservation of natural resources for future generations, ensuring that societies transition toward towards a more sustainable and equitable future. This transformation requires joint efforts between governments, the private sector, and civil society, with a focus on developing policies and legislation that facilitate the flow of investment into projects with positive social and environmental impacts. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no doubt that expanding cooperation among BRICS nations in the field of technology and innovation constitutes an important step and an urgent necessity towards enhancing sustainable development and technological advancement within the group. This requires increased investment in digital infrastructure, which contributes to strengthening the competitiveness of the alliance in the global market. It is worth noting that BRICS markets open new opportunities for member states and investors. Joint investment projects in energy and digital infrastructure across BRICS nations present profitable opportunities for investors. In addition to initiatives offered by the new Development Bank, this makes the alliance an economic model aimed to promoting sustainable growth among its members. Dear colleagues, Egypt is moving confidently along the path of economic reform and comprehensive development, aiming to achieve a more sustainable and resilient economy capable of withstanding crises. In this context, the government has recently taken a series of ambitious steps and measures to improve the investment climate and strengthen the role of the private sector in leading economic development. These efforts also include removing obstacles faced by investors and introducing a package of customs exemption and tax incentives aimed at simplifying bureaucratic procedures. Distinguished attendees, I take this opportunity to express our sincerest hopes that this forum will yield tangible outcomes that contribute to strengthening investments and economic cooperation among our nations. We emphasize the utmost importance of investing in human resources, as it's a fundamental component and prerequisite for achieving development and progress in our country. Thank you very much for your attention and consideration.
Concedo a palavra ao senhor deputado Sergei
Deputy Sergei Hashkov, President of the Committee of Foreign Relations of the Representative Chamber of Belarus, with whom I had the pleasure to talk for a while, a little earlier. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Colegas,
the Republic of Belarus, being an active participant in international economic initiatives, is ready to offer its BRICS partners a comprehensive system of investment support and technology transfer. Our country combines industrial potential, a developed agricultural sector, and a strong scientific base, which makes it a reliable partner for joint projects. The Republic of Belarus has special economic regimes in support of industrial cooperation and investment. These are 6 free economic zones offering investors tax incentives, including exemption from income tax, VAT and property tax. These preferences will remain in force until 2050. The Great Stone Industrial Park, created jointly with our Chinese partners, deserves special attention. This large-scale project provides exclusive conditions for doing business. A 10-year tax holiday on key payments with the possibility of their extension. In 2024, the law on investment was comprehensively updated, offering a wide range of instruments to protect the interests and support investors. The high-tech park offers participants preferential taxation at a rate of only 10% and a unique principle of extraterritoriality. The geopolitical position of Belarus as a natural transport hub of Eurasia opens up broad prospects for cooperation in the field of logistics. Our country is ready to become a platform for creating modern logistics hubs, where advanced technologies, including blockchain and the Internet of Things, IoT, will be used to build transparent and efficient supply chains. These are not just infrastructure projects. These are new standards of international trade. An equally important area is the development of human resources. Belarus offers comprehensive professional exchange programs and joint educational initiatives with the country's leading universities. We are ready to share our experience in training highly qualified specialists for high-tech industries, which are especially relevant in the era of digital transformation of economies. Dear colleagues, in the era of global transformations, when traditional economic ties are being revised, it is multilateral cooperation formats such as BRICS that are acquiring special significance. Belarus is ready to act as a reliable link in this cooperation architecture. Our country offers partners not just favorable conditions for doing business, but a comprehensive system of interaction, including a transparent, time-tested legal framework, special economic regimes adapted to the needs of international investors, and developed infrastructure for technology transfer. I am confident that today's forum is not just a platform for discussions, but a starting point for specific joint actions that can already, in the medium term, provide a tangible economic effect for all participants. Thank you.
Concedo a palavra ao senhor deputado Vivek Thakur, membro da Câmara dos Deputados da República da Índia.
Member of the Chamber of Deputies of India,
Thank you. Honorable Chairperson and
Mr.
distinguished
Vivek
delegates.
Thakur.
The catastrophic consequences of global warming are now well known. In recent times, the escalating global climate crisis has prompted nations to pursue environmentally friendly transformations. The shift towards sustainability, however, requires global involvement. Friends, investment in technology transfer for sustainable development is needed for mitigation because large-scale investments are required to significantly reduce emissions. Climate finance is equally important for adaptation, as significant financial resources are needed to adapt to the adverse effects and reduce the impacts of a changing climate. Integration of investment and technology transfer is a central tool for achieving SDGs, which will involve aligning national development policies with international collaborations, green innovations, and inclusive economic growth. I would like to recall here SDG 17, Target 17.16, which stressed to enhance the global partnership for sustainable development, complemented by multi-stakeholder partnerships that mobilize and share knowledge, expertise, technology, and financial resources to support the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals in all countries, in particular developing countries. India, as member of the international community, has time and again expressed its concern regarding this global problem. The adoption of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, at the Rio Earth Summit in 1992, and the subsequent adoption of the Kyoto Protocol in 1997, and later Paris Agreement in 2015 were remarkable initiatives in this regard. Technology transfer has been a key element of the climate action under UNFCCC. The Clean Development Mechanism was developed as the central instrument for transferring green technologies from developed to developing countries. But today, we all need to assess ourselves where we stand in comparison to the days when we adopted the convention and its agreements. I emphasize the need for taking concrete collective global actions against global environment and climate challenge, guided by equity, national priorities and circumstances, and the principles of common but differentiated responsibilities and respective capabilities. Collective effort, inclusive development, forms the cornerstone of India's national development agenda. India is a party to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, its Kyoto Protocol, and its Paris Agreement. I would like to recall the development commitment enshrined in the 2008 Doha Declaration and of the Monterrey Consensus of 2002 of providing 0.7% GNI as ODA by developed countries and the measures contained in the Addis Ababa Action Agenda for making finance available for achieving 2030 Agenda and the Sustainable Development Goals. Friends, the third Voice of Global South Summit held in August 24 is an extension to the international arena of India's philosophy of Vasudev Kutumbakam, or one earth, one family, one future. And our Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, and Sabka Prayas, meaning thereby everyone's support, everyone's development, everyone's faith, and everyone's effort. In the summit driven by a shared vision of a global South that fully achieves the Sustainable Development Goals and embarks on a rapid developmental trajectory beyond 2030, Prime Minister Modi also put forward a proposal for a comprehensive fourfold Global Development Compact comprising 4 elements. 1. Trade for development. 2. Capacity building for sustainable growth. 3. Technology sharing. 4. Project-specific concessional finance and grants. The official development assistance provided by developed countries constitutes an important source for financing the needs and SDGs of emerging economies. There is a need for a united voice to ensure that the developed countries honor their ODA commitments. The Government of India's approach to development partnership has been shaped by India's struggle for independence and solidarity with other colonized and developing countries, and the inspiring leadership of father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, who said, "I do want to think in terms of the whole world. My patriotism includes the good of mankind in general. Therefore, my service to India includes the service of humanity." Despite its own resource constraints, India has been sharing its developmental experiences and technical expertise with other countries in the spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We need to reinvigorate the spirit of constructive cooperation to come up with innovative and inclusive solutions to foster sustainable development. We must acknowledge that the multitude of challenges of today's dynamic and interdependent world can best be fought unitedly at the global level. SDG 17 speaks about strengthening the means of implementation and revitalization of the global partnership for sustainable development. Our mutual cooperation and collective actions will be crucial in bringing about transformation in the lives and livelihood of the people across the globe. Thank you very much.
Muito obrigado. Passo a palavra.
Thank you so much. I give the floor at this moment to our friend Marcelo Mahattan, representative of our dear state of Rio Grande do Sul in our Brazilian parliament.
Very good afternoon, everybody.
Boa tarde a todos.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to be with you today. I am Marcel Van Hattem, a federal representative from Brazil and a proud member of Novo Party, a party that is committed to economic freedom, individual rights, democratic values, responsible governance. As someone who has long defended these principles, I am honored to speak on this panel dedicated to investment promotion and sustainable development, because these goals are not just about economics, they are about people's lives, their dignity, and their freedom to pursue opportunity. If we study the last few decades, we see a clear pattern. Nations that open their markets, protect property rights, welcome investment, and trade freely have made significant progress. And these are the examples that some of our countries have been actually also giving the world when it comes to open their markets to the world. China, India, Indonesia, Nigeria, Brazil, each in their own way, has experienced the benefits of greater economic openness. But let's be clear, economic growth cannot thrive without political freedom. Markets do not operate in a vacuum. Investors need legal certainty. Entrepreneurs need transparent institutions. And citizens must be able to participate freely in public life without fear of punishment. That's why I say free markets require free people, and free people must be allowed to speak their minds. This is why I must speak clearly against the growing threat across many countries, including my own: censorship. Censorship does not protect democracy, it weakens it. It does not promote stability, it erodes trust. And it certainly does not attract investment, as because where speech is controlled, innovation dies. When people are silenced, progress is suffocated. We must say this plainly: freedom of expression is not negotiable. It is a fundamental right and is essential to both democracy and sustainable economic development. Now, turning to BRICS. Our group of countries represents an enormous share of the world's population and resources. But with that comes a choice. Will BRICS be a platform for cooperation and progress, or will it be used wrongly as a tool to create new ideological divisions? Sadly, some leaders, including in the current Brazilian government, seem more interested in turning BRICS into a bloc of opposition against the West rather than a platform for collaboration and mutual respect. I am in the opposition in Brazil because I believe this approach is harmful, among other reasons. BRICS must not become a tool for confrontation. It should be a space where we build bridges, where countries learn from one another, attract investment together, grounded in freedom, democracy, and openness. Let us strengthen what truly matters: independent institutions, freedom of speech and press, transparent legal system, a stable rules-based environment for investment, and a civil society that is free to participate, question, and innovate. Because when these freedoms are protected, development becomes not only possible, but lasting. Let us ensure that people across BRICS nations and beyond have that chance. Let BRICS be a platform where markets are free, people are free, and voices are never silenced. And to conclude, I would like to tell the honorable members of parliaments from around the world coming to Brazil that unfortunately, even here in this Congress, we have members of parliament who are today subject to political persecution by the government of Lula. Among them, myself and Felipe Barros, the Speaker of the Committee of Foreign Relations. We want this Congress to be strong, not to have politicians who are persecuted by anybody, especially by the government of the Republic of Brazil. Thank you so much. Feel very welcome to Brazil. We hope to see you back. Thank you.
Agradeço ao deputado Marcel Van Hatten.
We'd like to thank Deputy Marcel Van Hatten, and I would like to thank and congratulate all the deputies and representatives for all your contribution here in this second session. I would like to request that you all stay in your seats because we'll have, starting now, the third session that is going to start in 2 minutes. I declare it as finished this session.
Declaro aberta a terceira sessão de
I
trabalho
declare open
da
the
segunda
third
reunião de
session.
presidentes de
I declare
comissões
open the
de
third
relações
session
exteriores dos parlamentos do BRICS
of
com
the
o
Parliament
tema
of BRICS
Instrumentos
with the
financeiros
theme
para BRICS mais resiliente
Financial
e
Tools
sustentável.
for a More Sustainable and Resilient BRICS.
Excelências, senhoras, senhores, mais uma
Ladies
vez,
and gentlemen,
boa tarde a
once
todos.
more, good afternoon to all.
Espero que estejam
I
fazendo
hope
uma excelente
that
estadia.
you're having a great stay in our country here in
É
Brazil.
uma honra
It's an
representar o
honor
Parlamento
to
brasileiro
represent
nesta
the Brazilian
cúpula,
Parliament
na condição de presidente da Comissão de Relações
and
Exteriores e de Defesa
conducting
Nacional da Câmara
as
dos
President
Deputados.
of the Foreign Relations
Trago a essa mesa uma convicção
of the
fundamental.
Chamber of Deputies. I bring to this
Soberania
table
não é
something
obstáculo
fundamental.
à
Sovereignty
cooperação,
is not
mas
a challenge to
pré-requisito para que ela seja
cooperation,
legítima,
but it is
equilibrada e
necessary
duradoura.
for it to be
Vivemos
legitimate
tempo em que a
and
interdependência se impõe
long-lasting.
como realidade global.
Independence is a global reality nowadays, but we're also living a moment where all countries
Preservar o direito de
need
definir os
to
próprios
preserve
rumos,
and
sem
defend
interferências,
its
sem
own
imposições,
paths
e
without
sem perda de
interference,
autonomia
without
decisória. Para nós,
and
no
with its
Brasil,
own autonomy.
soberania significa
For us in
mais
Brazil,
do que
sovereignty
integridade
means
territorial.
more than
Ela abrange a capacidade de produzir,
than
inovar,
integrity in our
financiar,
borders.
educar,
It's about
comunicar e
educating,
proteger
financing, and
nossas
protecting
necessidades e prioridades.
our own necessities
Soberania é
and
também
priorities.
liberdade de formular
Sovereignty
políticas
is also
públicas
a
que
way
façam sentido
that
para
we
a
can
realidade concreta da
formulate
nossa população.
public policies
Nos BRICS,
that
temos
help
espaço
our
promissor de
population.
construção conjunta,
On
com
BRICS,
base
we give
no
a space
respeito à
of
diversidade de modelos,
collective
culturas e
contribution
caminhos
of
de
diverse
desenvolvimento.
models and different paths of development.
Para nós,
This
não é
pluralism for us is not a
valor a ser
challenge,
preservado.
but it's a value that we need to
Acreditamos que
preserve.
alianças
We
estratégicas
believe
se tornam
that
mais
strategic
fortes quando não
alliances
exigem
are even
uniformidade.
stronger when they're not uniform, but when they value the singularity of each nation. Brazil wants to be an active partner, but with a clear identity and with a compromising with their own people. That's why we look for strategical security in many dimensions: food security, digital development. It's not sovereignty when the decision is dependent on external decisions. Our chains of information are vulnerable to geopolitical pressures. Strategical security for us is guaranteeing that Brazil can grow with stability. That it needs attention to. We need to guarantee that our institutions work and that our people have freedom of speech and that our economy is at service to our internal development. That's why we believe that the freedom of speech is not an internal issue. It's something that is fundamental to talk between nations. Defend the freedom of speech is defend the right to debate and choose your own path with maturity and responsibility. The Brazilian Parliament has been surveillant in this way, and we reaffirm how we compromise and to our Constitution and to the. We want you to understand this spirit, and defending the sovereignty is not about rejecting alliances. It's about qualifying these alliances based on mutual trust, on a joint construction to development. Our country has a lot of dialogue, but it also has the responsibility to guarantee that this dialogue increases its capacity of decision-making. We're open to the cooperation that respects this premise. We count with BRICS to offer a space of sovereignty and partnership where all countries walk one alongside the other. We believe on the construction of a world that is multipolar, but not only in a geopolitical way. We want a world where multiple decisions and stories can coexist with dignity, each one with their voice, with their force, and their project. This, for us, is the basis for peace, the peace that is born from the balance between liberty and respect. Thank you so much. I would like to pass the floor At this moment, I want to pass the floor to Mr. Gregory Karasin, President of the Council of Foreign Relations for the delegation of Russia for the time of 5 minutes.
First of all, I would like to thank our Brazilian friends for our warm hospitality and great weather in this wonderful capital. We would like to thank Brazil as a country sharing BRICS this year. Russia also extends its gratitude to all the participants in this grouping and fulfilling the agreement as set forth in the Kazan Declaration of the 16 BRICS Summit. The primarily deals with the cross-border payment initiative establishing BRICS clear in independent settlement and depository infrastructure solution, as well as the setting BRICS Reassurance Company, a sovereign reassurance company. In addition to this, we believe the importance of achieving steady and meaningful progress toward developing a new digital investment platform based on the new developments bank infrastructure. We recognize the importance of the bank, of its key role in facilitating infrastructure development, in promoting sustainable development. We welcome the growing share of settlements in national currencies in mutual transactions. It's about 65%. The Russian foreign has been marking strides in establishing itself as a blueprint for a future system of international relations. Its participating countries and dozens of countries across the global south and east that have been forging mutually respectful, mutually beneficial and trust-based ties. It's obvious that the BRICS is a constructive multilateral partnership that consists of different religions. It's a pillar of multilateral world on the international arena. We are essential. We are unwavering in its commitment to reform the international financial architecture and the Bretton Woods institutions. It's unacceptable that the fact that a group of 7 continues to define the way of international financial institutions and operate within its countries accounts for less than a third of the global GDP. BRICS countries have yet to acquire this level of influence in the financial world, even though their aggregate GDP is around 41%. And while 3 countries within our group are among the world's top 5 economies, it's essential that monetary political biases stop defining the way the Bretton Woods institutions operate. We need to stop promoting the vested interest and neo-colonial practices in global affairs. We are informal the mechanism in these our organizations have to work together in order to avoid discriminatory measures in order not to adopt the neo-colonial standards. We have to follow. We believe that BRICS countries understand that unilateral restrictions pursue a political agenda and have a negative impact on global trade. On enacting measures, the West seeks to preserve its rapidly dwindling global economic dominance. As a practical real steps for delivering these proposals, I would like to mention the interparliamentary cooperation as defined in the protocol of the BRICS Parliamentary Forum Memorandum of Understanding that we signed in 2024 in St. Petersburg during the 10th BRICS Parliamentary Group. It provides for establishing working groups with a mission for explore the forum's agenda together in its various aspects. Therefore, we can create a working group in this kind of discuss ways to develop financial institutions within BRICS by inviting representatives from our respective financial committees. And we are talking about BRICS plus geopolitical groups. Let me remind that during we drafted the rules of procedure for the BRICS plus geopolitical group as a part of the Russian BRICS chairmanship. The parliaments of Indonesia, Ethiopia, Iran, China, South Africa, and the United Arab Emirates have supported this draft. Russia views the initiatives to establish BRICS Plus geopolitical group as the essential mechanism for promoting constructive cooperation and coordinating efforts by members of parliament on the international agenda. In conclusion, I would like to again once express our deep gratitude to the Brazilian chairmanship for its commitment to working on these essential matters. Thank you very much for your attention.
Muito obrigado, senador. Passo a palavra neste momento ao senhor deputado Juan Que, vice-presidente da Comissão de Relações Exteriores do Congresso Nacional do Povo da República Popular da China, pelo prazo de 5 minutos.
Your Excellencies, dear colleagues, good afternoon. In recent years, the BRICS cooperation in the financial areas has maintained positive momentum. We have carried out discussions in building the infrastructure, the financial infrastructures in the field of payment, settlement, reinsurance, and we have jointly advanced the international monetary and financial system reform and advanced new BRICS members to provide reserves for the contingent reserve arrangement. This fully demonstrates the resilience and vitality of our financial cooperation and also shows the common aspiration of BRICS countries. We believe in the future we should focus on the following aspects to help BRICS countries to realize a more resilient and sustainable development. First, we should jointly voice for the international financial architecture reform. We should enhance the BRICS communication and coordination in the G20, IMF, World Bank, and other institutions. And we should make positive voices, combining with the critical junctures, for example, the World Bank shareholding review, the IMF general quota review, and to support the Global South countries to fully participate in the international economy policy making, the governance and the rulemaking to improve the voice and representation of Global South countries. And second, we should support New Development Bank in playing a bigger role. This year marks the 10th anniversary of it. As the host of the bank, China always supports the development of the New Development Bank and support its member states to realize sustainable development. Recently, President Xi Jinping visited the New Development Bank in Shanghai and met with its President Rousseff. He reaffirmed China's strong support to the development banks and also proposed a higher requirement for the future development. And we should provide more high-quality, low-cost, and sustainable infrastructure financing for member states and implement more science-tech financing and green financing projects, and also amplify the voices of Global South countries in the international arena. China supports the bank in the membership expansion, and we look forward more BRICS member states and partner states in joining the New Development Bank. Third, further deepening the local currency cooperation. We support New Development Bank in innovating the financing model and loan tools, and continue to expand the local currency investment and financing skill and issue more local currency bonds in the BRICS member states. And we also promoting the implementation of local currency credit agreement of the BRICS interbank cooperation mechanisms and focusing on infrastructure, energy transition, digital economy, climate response, and SMEs to guide more BRICS countries to use local currency financing. And fourth, to further improve the contingent reserve arrangement. And we should accelerate our effort to finalize the amendments to the CRA documents and prepare for the 8th CRA test run, and further let BRICS countries provide more reserve with its local currencies and other non-dollar currencies. The financial cooperation is specialized and high sensitive, and it needs the strong support and prudent research of legislators. The BRICS countries' legislatures should carry out further studies and have further cooperation with the BRICS think tank network for finance, so as to provide system guarantees for the financial cooperation from the perspective of legislation, and so as we can make greater outcomes and safeguard our common interests. Thank you.
Now I would like to give the floor to our Senator Surinder Sinaga, member of the Republican Senate in India.
Chairperson, distinguished delegates, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share my views on financial instruments for the more resilient and sustainable BRICS. We can see that there is a shift of economic landscape today. The fact remains that the BRICS group accounts for 49% of the world population and around 40% of the global GDP. As a result, BRICS transforming from a group of potential into a leadership force on the world stage. I would like to reiterate what our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi just said. I quote, "India wants a world order that ensures inclusive development of all, especially the global south," unquote. India attaches importance to its engagement with BRICS, which has emerged as a valuable forum for consultation, cooperation, and his help to promote mutual understanding. With the world facing major challenges such as climate change, inequality, and hunger, we need sustainable development now more than ever. But it also needs adequate financing and affordable cost. The new development bank, NDB, is playing a key role in promoting infrastructure and sustainable development. We look forward to its further development and improvement in corporate governance and operational effectiveness towards fulfillment of the NDB's general strategy for the 2022-2026. We recognize that the use of blended finance is an effective way to mobilize private capital to finance infrastructure projects and thereby contributing to achievement of the sustainable development goals in accordance with specific needs, priorities with our respective countries. The most significant value of blended finance transaction is the ability to unlock the funding for investment in areas that are not well funded. Blended finance also helps in achieving social goals as it reduces dependency on the government debt and the sovereign guarantees, builds a pipeline of commercially viable social impact projects, and reduce the risk premium through co-financing and co-investment. Financing solutions would be required blending with the focus on the key areas to address deserve developmental needs and improving the efficiency and the impact of existing grant programs. This can ultimately lead to robust, sustainable and inclusive development. I am confident that our deliberations here today would be effective in addressing this very important issue. Thank you.
Concedo a palavra ao senhor deputado Ahmad
Like to pass the
Naderi,
floor
membro da
to
mesa
Deputy
diretora da Assembleia
Ahmad
Consultiva
Naderi
Islâmica da República
from the
Islâmica
delegation
do Irã,
of Iran for the time of 5 minutes.
In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. Dear colleagues, honorable members of parliament from Brazil, honorable chairs of the foreign relations committees, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants. At the outset, I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to the parliaments of Brazil for their outstanding organization of this important gathering. Your tireless efforts in hosting this event reflects Brazil's profound commitment to strengthening cooperation within BRICS, but also at the same time, this is a unique opportunity in order to hold consultations and exchange constructive views among the member states. Honorable colleagues, a resilient economy is one which possesses the capacity to withstand and swiftly recover from external shocks such as financial crisis, sanctions, or extreme commodity price fluctuations. A sustainable economy, meanwhile, is one that pursues balanced long-term growth while preserving natural human resources, safeguard the interests of future generations. In a world undergoing rapid economic transformation, diversifying payment mechanism is not just desirable, but a strategic necessity. Expanding the use of national currencies in trade and adopting innovative settlement methods are crucial steps towards reducing dependence on financial systems dominated by the West. Such diversification can liberate us from imposed constraints and enhance our economic resilience. In this regard, parliaments have a pivotal role. By enacting supportive legislation, they can greatly facilitate these transitions. Institutions like IMF and the World Bank have at times evolved into instruments of pressure against developing nations. By establishing independent financial institutions, BRICS countries can craft financial policies aligned with their collective and national interests. NDB, as the financial arm of BRICS, plays a central role in financing infrastructure projects, from roads and ports to power plants and advanced communication networks. Strengthening the bank's capacity to invest in such infrastructure will not only reduce reliance on external financial sources, but also enhance the economic sovereignty of member states. Here again, parliaments can accelerate these processes through effective oversight of resource allocation and by passing enabling legislation and incentive frameworks. Among the most effective tools for bolstering economic resilience is the establishment of a joint investment fund among BRICS nations. This fund would pool the financial resources of member countries, serving as a financial shield during crisis, providing liquidity support to members facing currency devaluation or liquidity shortages. Furthermore, the fund could invest in long-term development projects. Establishing a secure and multi-layered financial safety net is equally essential. This network would shield our economies from global volatility and enable mutual support. Parliaments can serve as key enablers by passing the necessary legislation to underpin such frameworks. The Islamic Republic of Iran, with its unique geostrategic position, is well placed to serve as a bridge between BRICS and the West Asian region. Utilizing natural currencies in trade with BRICS partners can liberate us from the constraints imposed by the dominance of Western countries. A more resilient and sustainable economy also demands the diversification of corporate financing sources, reduced reliance on foreign debt, and enhanced transparency in financial markets. These steps will attract both domestic and foreign investment while improving the efficiency and productivity of financial markets. Investing in fintech, including digital payment platforms and intelligent banking systems, can significantly improve access to financial services and increase the competitiveness of financial systems. Such technologies lower transaction costs and accelerate financial operations. Natural implementation of these financial instruments will not be without challenges. Differences in financial systems, levels of economic developments, and political priorities among BRICS nations can pose obstacles. To overcome these challenges, I propose the following. One, establishment of a joint financial committee to coordinate and oversee the implementation of proposed solutions. Two, investment in training for economic stakeholders and policymakers to ensure effective utilization of these financial instruments. Three, creation of transparent mechanisms to build trust among investors and citizens. In conclusion, I would like to underscore that the economic future of BRICS depends on our collective innovation, synergy, and determination. The proposals presented today can serve as a roadmap toward building a more resilient and sustainable economic framework. Not only they help us against global problems, but at the same time, they play a critical role for the future of the economy. Through trust, we can pave the path and turn BRICS into resilient, modern. I wish all of you great success and look forward to continuing cooperation in pursuit of our shared goals. Thank you for your attention.
To our Deputy Sergei Sharkov, President of the Foreign Relations representing the Republic of Belarus for 5 minutes. Muito obrigado, Senhor Presidente.
Dear colleagues, Belarus considers that in the context of global economic turbulence and growing risks of fragmentation of the international financial system, the BRICS countries demonstrate historic determination to create independent mechanisms of economic interaction. The organization's recent initiatives have clearly outlined a course for building a multipolar financial architecture based on sovereignty, mutual trust, and technological independence. The BRICS countries demonstrate a high level of readiness to deepen cooperation in the payment sphere, focusing on 3 key areas: expanding settlements in national currencies, harmonizing financial markets, and ensuring cybersecurity of payment systems. These initiatives are already moving into practical implementation. Bilateral agreements on mutual settlements, development of common standards, and creation of a secure financial infrastructure are becoming the basics for building a sovereign economic architecture. The joint decision taken by the BRICS leaders in 2023-2024 marked the beginning of a new era in international settlements. The transition to national currencies is an important step towards the formation of a fair, multipolar economic architecture, where decisions are made based on the interest of all participants. In addition, we see significant progress in creating an independent financial infrastructure. Key achievements in this area were the development of the BRICS payment system based on the blockchain technologies, the introduction of central bank digital currencies for cross-border settlements, and the development of mechanisms for linking units of payment to a basket of commodity assets. These solutions form the basis for sustainable alternative to existing international payment systems. The Republic of Belarus, which has significant experience in the field of financial technologies, is ready to contribute to the development of these projects. We especially support the efforts to create a multi-level settlement system that combines innovative payment instruments with reliable security mechanisms. Such an integrated approach allows the BRICS countries to strengthen financial sovereignty and to reduce dependence on external factors, which in the strategic interests of all participants of our organization. The most important element of the emerging BRICS financial architecture is the new development bank, an international financial institution that has already proven its effectiveness as a tool for implementing large-scale infrastructure projects, technological modernization programs, and the transition to green energy. I would like to especially note the fundamentally important approach of the bank to lending in the national currencies of borrowing countries. This practice not only reduces currency risk for project participants, but also serves as convincing evidence of the consistent work of BRICS to build a sustainable financial system. The Republic of Belarus considers this model as a model for the development of the entire spectrum of financial cooperation within BRICS. To summarize, I would like to say that the participating countries are facing ambitious tasks that require coordinating efforts. The Republic of Belarus is ready to take an active part in this important work, contributing to the construction of a fair and stable financial system in the BRICS region. Thank you.
Concedo a palavra ao senhor senador Félix
Pass the floor to the Senator
presidente da
Felix
Comissão de
Arpiapi,
Política Internacional da
President
Câmara
of
dos
the
Senadores
International
do Estado
Policies
Nacional da Bolívia.
of the State of Bolivia.
Thank you, President. This morning we talked about commerce among a partner, not between an employee and its boss. The same way the financial part must be understood as an instrument, not like a system that through the financial system understand the countries are submitted ideologically with the pretext of freedom. We believe that BRICS, since the multilateralism point of view, must work in harmony with solidarity and complementarity. This is why we believe that the financial instruments must be not to explore people, but to collaborate with people, so the states people can develop themselves in a very balanced way without harm anybody else. This is why Bolivia, it's been a state member of BRICS, will always propose the solidarity and complementarity. Bolivia offers space of investment for the countries of BRICS that have the condition to invest. And also, we need, through the development bank of BRICS, that can be very participative, so Bolivia can develop itself very well, taking advantage of all its technology without harm its sovereignty, not only in Bolivia, but all countries of BRICS that must have their sovereignty respected, as well as their thought and the responsibilities and freedom, since the point of view of the indigenous people that are part of the environmental balance, mainly in Bolivia. This is why we are sure that the financial instruments that the BRICS will be an instrument of development and balance, and according to the development of the society, we will move forward, so the world, a multipolar world, will bring benefit not only to Bolivia, but also to Latin America, as well as all countries in the world that want to develop themselves in a very harmony, collective way, without being submitted to others. This is what Bolivia hope, and all the parliament members that are here, is to generate instruments, normative instruments, so the financial instruments of BRICS can develop themselves through legal security in the financial system in the different developed countries, and also taking advantage of all potentialities that the countries, developing countries offers. We can help the world, and Bolivia is open for this. Thank you very much to this event.
Agradeço, senador
I want to thank Deputy Felix. I want to give the floor to our noble federal deputy representative of our beautiful state of Pernambuco. If your excellencies don't know, haven't been there yet, make sure you visit the state. Good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. I want to salute my colleagues, President of the International Relations, Senator Nelson Trali, and I want to welcome all the delegations present here today, deputies and parliamentarians for this important forum of discussion, and parliamentarians that are member of the BRICS. I believe that over a decade has passed after the institution of BRICS. We've seen an important outcome of this political decision made by these countries of expanding mutual dialogue, understanding that we really form a group of countries with a wide diversity, but we share common challenges, such as dealing with outskirting countries around the world in multilateral discussions, and also the challenge of being countries that we are in the vanguard of technological development and in the vanguard of important discussions, while we still face challenges that many countries have already left behind in the past century of infrastructure in health service and education realm. So all of these challenges make the dialogue and the strengthening of the relations between these countries even more important. Today represent over 40% of the world's GDP. So from the institution of the BRICS, led by the economic growth of China, we have seen the international trade of member states and many other states, the percentage of international market grow over the past 10 years, and making it easier for our citizens that we don't need to depend so much upon the trade of the G7, United States, or European Union. So in order to move forward in this discussion of strengthening these countries that share so many common challenges, it's important to have this discussion we are having today regarding the financial instruments that can be utilized for strengthening our development. I would like to highlight two initiatives. The first, a new development bank that came to break the paradigm that were generally led by actions that are developed to finance developing countries without understanding the specific realities of each country, without understanding the needs to coexist with other perspectives of world, and without conditioning the loans to an agenda that was not required or wished by those countries that were taking those loans. So this new development bank has advanced a lot, being closer to the reality of the countries, for not imposing a specific agenda for the country to develop, and allowing the necessary mechanisms for financing so they can go about utilizing their local currency. And the second point, I believe, is also equally important in this discussion, is to move forward in utilizing the own currency in international trade, or developing a currency that can serve in these international relations, all financing relations and partnerships, trade, international trade among these countries that don't need in this multi-polarized world. We don't need to follow and we don't need to be led by only one currency alone. This discussion is important, that takes a lot of maturity, but I do believe BRICS, taking the initiative of this discussion, has really contributed to the development of the countries that are member states, and in a very near future be able to develop alternatives that will optimize and streamline international trade among these countries, and ultimately bring benefits to the populations and to the development of each member states of the BRICS. So I want to congratulate all of you that participated in this discussion, and I hope some other members could also join us in this important global discussion.
I would like to pass the floor to the Deputy Marcel van Hatten.
Before talking about the topic, I would also like to thank every one of your countries that helped, and my state of Rio Grande do Sul, we had the most severe floods in the state's history last year, and many of your governments, as well as other governments around the world, helped us during that very difficult time when we had almost 200 casualties and more than 600,000 people out of their homes because of the severe weather conditions. So first and foremost, thank you very much for your aid and help. Just trying to summarize a little bit of what I believe and what I have heard from you as well. I think there are some things that we have to hold as important when we discuss how to have sustainable development and also better tools for investing in our countries. And there are five things that are very important: property rights, respect to the rule of law, individual freedoms, limited government, and free trade. We used to look at the consequences of the creation of wealth and not normally to the causes. And the causes are there. If we look at the wealth of nations, and of course I could be quoting here even Adam Smith, who wrote his book and published it in 1776 about it, we will see that all countries that have been respecting sustainably property rights, the rule of law, individual freedoms, limited government, and free trade have also been the richest countries in the world. So let us at the BRICS countries as well look at these causes and implement our legislation and public policies according to them, and certainly we will have less poor people in our countries, more development and more wealth. This is what I believe in, but more than a belief is something that the data has been given consistently throughout the years, throughout the decades, I would also say throughout the centuries. And once more, we're happy to host you during this meeting here, and we have a strong belief in democracy, we have a strong belief in human rights, and we also want that Brazil, that is passing now through a very challenging situation with the current government, may be among the most developed countries shortly. And for this to happen, we have to have more respect, not only in our country, but also in the countries that all of you represent, more respect to property rights, the rule of law, individual freedoms, limited government, and free trade. Thank you.
I would like to thank all of you for your rich contribution along this working day. We will be able to take into our parliament and all committees we preside valuable information that will enrich our parliamentary action. We have a few minutes to conclude with the summary of our works that will be ready. Will be read in the closing session. So I suggest this coffee break will take place now. Our master of ceremony will guide you. We will come back at exactly 4 p.m. So I declare the session closed.
Encerramento da segunda reunião de presidentes de comissões de relações exteriores dos parlamentos do BRICS. Na mesa, a senadora Tereza Cristina, vice-presidente da Comissão de Relações Exteriores do
Senator
Senado,
Teresa Cristina, Vice
e o senador
President
que vos
of
fala, Nelsinho Trade. Excelentíssimas senhoras e senhores,
Ladies and
presidentes e
gentlemen,
representantes das comissões
presidents
das
and
relações
representatives
exteriores
of
dos parlamentos
the
dos
commissions of
BRICS
foreign
e de
relations of
países
the
parceiros,
parliaments of
ilustres
BRICS
colegas
and
da mesa,
partners,
excelentíssimos membros de representações diplomáticas,
colleagues on the table,
aqui
members of
presentes, caros
diplomatic
colegas parlamentares,
representations
senhoras e senhores.
and
É com muita
parliamentary.
alegria e sensação de dever cumprido que finalizamos a segunda
We're
reunião
finishing the
de
second
presidentes da
meeting
Comissão de
of
Relações
presidents
Exteriores dos parlamentos do BRICS.
of
No dia de
foreign
hoje,
relations
exercitamos
of
o
parliaments
nosso
of BRICS.
indispensável papel de
Today,
aprofundar a
we talk about
democratização
our
e a
role
eficiência na
about
condução das nossas
deepening
relações exteriores.
democracy
Como
in our
presidentes de
relations.
Comissão de Relações
Like
Exteriores dos
presidents
nossos
of
parlamentos,
commissions of external
somos
relations
atores
in the
essenciais no
parliaments,
processo de
we're
implementação de
actors
compromissos firmados no âmbito do BRICS e no reforço da cooperação entre os integrantes
in the
desses
reinforcement
países.
of cooperation
E hoje
between
tivemos
countries.
oportunidade de
Today we have
conhecer
the
e
opportunity to
compartilhar
know
experiências e
and
boas
share
práticas
experiences and good
serão
practices
fundamentais
that will
para a
be
ampliação do debate
fundamental
público
to widen the
buscado
public
em nossas
debate
comissões.
in
Agradecemos
our
muito a presença e a
commissions.
participação
We
dos
thank the
senhores e das
presence
senhoras que se
of
deslocaram de seus
everyone
países para fortalecer
that
esse
came from
fórum
your
parlamentar,
countries to
cada vez
strengthen
mais
this
relevante
forum
para os nossos
that,
povos.
that is each time more
Passo
relevant
agora a
for our
palavra à senadora
population.
Tereza Cristina
With the floor
para
now,
suas
Senator Teresa
considerações
Cristina with her final considerations.
Thank you, Senator Nelson. Ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap up this second meeting of exterior of the BRICS parliamentarians, I would like to express my acknowledgments to have elevated the level of the debates to the genuine constructive dialogue. This is the main raw material of parliamentary diplomacy. Listening and respect to differences and commitment to results. The working sessions, they approach the axles that really comprehend the roles of the BRICS and the world we wish to build. We started with the trade. We have affirmed the understanding that there's no room to be hostage to the international pressures that lack predictability and equity. The strengthening of exchange between BRICS countries shows not only as a strategic need, but as a sign of pragmatism and autonomy and maturity. Free trade based on rules, as we all know, is a player of the economic development, of climatic issues, and food safety. We should not consequently be submitted to conjunctural or parochial interests. We talked about promoting investments and technology transfer for sustainable development. And here again, there's a great field of opportunities. Brazil has advanced concretely with innovation and bioeconomy. It's not by chance that we are a reference in renewable energy, low carbon emission agriculture, and sustainable food production at large scale. These solutions may and must be shared with our BRICS partners, and beyond can be improved based on several models with distinct experiences and local knowledge. Financial institutions have showed the importance of strengthening our institutions as the new development bank. It's time to move forward, building alternative mechanisms that will offer stability with no ideological or political hurdles in transversal global health, economic development, climate, and artificial intelligence. The focus for the next coming days for the BRICS must be the same: practical operation with clear goals and focus on results. Technology, for example, cannot be a dependency factor, can be a vector of sovereignty, especially anchored on values such as transparency, ethics, and inclusion. Finally, as we treat the necessary reforms of international architecture, it's evident that the BRICS have legitimacy and enough cohesion to propose pathways that value multilateralism, rehabilitate international rights, and reinforce the forums where the countries have voice and voting power congruent to current reality. It's clear that parliamentary diplomacy has a fundamental role. We are open to political channels, to legitimacy for international alternatives, to guarantee that integration is not restricted to offices and comes to the society, to the real citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, history has no ready trajectory, and the rituals are not an end by themselves, but an instrument for a more balanced world, more pluralized, and more fair. It's within our hands to give intensity to this instrument, transforming affinity into trust and trust into long-lasting cooperation. Thank you for the quality of the discussion and the frankness, making this meeting more than a formal commitment, but a concrete step forward towards a more representative global governance. May we be connected by this common agenda with a sense of consciousness and a long-term view, not only to renew our commitment, but above all, represent real advancements. Thank you all so much, and see you soon.
We would like to thank the final considerations of the Senator Teresa Cristina, Vice President of the Foreign Relations of the Senate. And we'll pass the floor to the summary of the Brazilian presidents. The meeting of the Parliament of the BRICS, the Parliament has the honor to receive on June 3rd in our capital the meeting of the presidents of foreign commissions of parliaments of BRICS. In this opportunity, we debated economical subjects for the members of the group. It was the second meeting in this format after the discussion last year. I would like to congratulate all the participants and thank for all the contributions that all delegations brought. The economical relations between the members of BRICS are fundamental for the stability of their economies. The collaboration goes beyond exchanging goods. It also includes transferring technologies, coordinating policies, and creating our own financial institutions. This strengthens our countries and increases the collective development of our group, creating new opportunities. On the 3 sessions of the discussions, we discussed themes like foreign trade, investments, finances. On the first session, we talked about mutual gains. There's also a necessity of development of the institutions of free trade. We need to strengthen multilateralism on our trade relations. We also need the exchanges and the benefits to be reverted in favor of our population, being the stability for the supply chains and fundamental for trading. The second session was dedicated to the subject of investments. We talked about the deepening of our. It's necessary that we strengthen this environment for investments between our countries, attracting different investors. About transfer of technologies and the capacity of innovation, both are an essential element in this context. With that, the members and partners need to work for partnerships that put in favor our productive capacities. The third session had the scope strategic processes for countries in BRICS, with an emphasis for the development of new instruments that are resilient. We need to create a favorable environment for entrepreneurs the infrastructure of the countries inside the group. We need to promote more resources for infrastructure with quality and also for innovation and technology. We need to think of BRICS as a cooperation, an environment of cooperation. And the political liberty is essential to increase the economical liberty. We want to create a world that is multipolarized, not only in a geopolitical way, but also sensibilizing different histories and coexist with dignity, each one with their voice and their own project. Brazil considers important the meeting of these presidents on the foreign relations in BRICS and needs everybody to compromise, and these type of reunions being more common. More than the simple expression of our worries, the contributions represent the aspirations of these different nations that integrate BRICS, expressed on the representatives of each parliament. We will publish this summary hoping that everything that was debated in this meeting will be considered on the Parliamentary Forum of BRICS that will be done in Rio de Janeiro. Happening in the city of Brasília, June 3rd, signed by Deputy Felipe Barros and Senator Nelsinho. Thank you. And this is the final letter of our meeting. Before finishing this meeting, we would like to invite once more for another coffee break now at our black room that is really interesting to be visited here alongside us, and to welcome the meeting that is going to happen tomorrow in our forum here of BRICS. I declared as finished our meeting, and thank you very much.